Greetings all. Yes, the National Qigong Association. I just got back from Richmond, Virginia. We just had our 29th conference yesterday, Friday and Saturday and Wednesday. It was great. So I'm still pedaling. Oh, about that. Do we have any bicycle riders out there? In the past? I mean, yeah, you do. But everyone has ridden a bicycle, correct?
Yeah.
And what is the secret to riding a bicycle? Keep pedaling, because as soon as you stop pedaling, what happens? That's that's the true test of balance, is to hold still on a bicycle, but it's near impossible. You can extrapolate that into everything that we do. Keep your balance. I always talk about balance. So I was talking maybe yes, maybe no. Whatever you're going through, you want to make sure you keep pedaling, because everything is in the constant state of change. Nothing remains the same. So what I'm going to do is look at balance from, in the Taoist tradition, it's always Jing Qi Shen, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So your physical balance, obviously, when you're standing, what's your posture like? Are you opposing gravity? Can you release all your tension? A lot of people, when they're like raising your arms, everybody raise your arms. Okay. That's good. Okay, now, while your arms are out, what are you doing with your shoulders? Are they, or are you holding tension in your shoulders? Most people do. So a lot of times what happens is when you're getting in touch with yourself, you can put your arms down. No, you have to hold them for the whole sermon. When you're doing things, a lot of times you're not even aware of how much tension you hold in your body. There's no awareness. You really don't know. That's why I always encourage people, if you want to study Qigong, Tai Chi, anything, go to a teacher. Do not watch DVDs, because as I always say, you can watch a DVD, but a DVD can't watch you. So everybody was not even aware of how much tension you have in your shoulders. You have to learn that. It has to be pointed out to you. So establishing your physical balance. When you're standing, are you opposing gravity? This is all on the physical level. If you are standing properly, there's a major concern as you get older about osteoporosis and such things. If you are opposing gravity properly, it is pushing down. Gravity is 33.5 pounds per square inch from cradle to grave. That's pressing down on you. Okay. If you're in alignment, your bones are designed to get strong against a downward force. If you're out of alignment, that's where the arthritis and things come in. So you want to make sure your alignment. And then what happens is, as you start to structure your alignment, you start to release your muscles and you let go of that tension, because your structure is holding you up. Your muscles are for movement though. So you want to find that sense of balance. When you're sitting on a bicycle or anything else you need to do balance, you have to find that position where you feel aligned through the bicycle with the earth. Okay. The other thing that happens with your structure is, when you're looking at releasing physical tension, you start looking at, why am I putting it there? Because I tell people there's no such thing as external stress. No, there's no such thing. There's a lot of energetic things going on all around you all the time, but you have 100% control over the frame you put around everything. Is it stressful? You're deciding all that. I said I was in Richmond, and it was funny because I was checking out of the hotel room and I was waiting. It was valet parking. So I had to wait because everybody was checking out at the same time, and they decided to have the Richmond Marathon right outside the hotel room. So traffic's all backed up. In the morning, there was fire trucks and everything. So I'm bringing everything down, and I'm watching people just stressing out about everything. I'm going, okay, what can you do about this? So being at peace with yourself, regardless of your environment, that's how you manage stress. So what happened is, the valet, there was only one valet who had to walk 2 blocks to get everybody's cars. So she can only drive one at a time. She hasn't worked on the double driving yet. So I waited. I was just looking at her and said, take your time. I'm not, in any rush. Then you have the people who are like, hurry up, and here's $1. Go get my car. It's like, okay, yeah. So I'm waiting, and I gave her tip early, and she said, oh, thank you. So here it turns out she brought my car back kind of early. And then I was at the front desk, and it was $40 a day parking, valet parking, which was a lot easier than trying to find parking. So the guy at the front desk said, you know what, because you're so nice with everything and patient, I'm going to knock a day parking off your bill. Just be at peace with yourself all the time. Like I said, you control everything that's going on. You can't control everything that's going on around you, but you can control on how it affects you. Because we're all making everything up around it, even everything that's going on all over the place, which brings us into your emotional level. Is I'm a student of history and all kinds. The world has never been different. It's never been different. It's always been the same. You'll always have the polarities going against each other to try to take dominance. Okay, this polarity. That's why probably the most profound of all the spiritual teachings, in my opinion, is the Taoist teachings. Oh, right there. Yin and yang. The yin and yang symbol, if you understand that, that will help you out because everything is in constant change. If you look at the extreme black, right? That's winter. At that moment, light's born because extreme of one always gives birth to the other. Always. So when you get to the winter solstice, at that moment, darkness has reached its extreme and it gives birth to light. Light continues to build, there's springtime. Continues to maximize out, there's summer. At that moment, darkness is born. I mean, you could look at that symbol and extrapolate to, and this is when early on when I was doing my studies, I'm looking at it and saying, okay, you can apply this to pretty much anything. So for example, I was born, you can't get darker than my birthday. I was born on December 20th, the night before the winter solstice. You can't get darker. So yeah, but it's constant state of change. So you can look at winter solstice, spring, summer, fall, midnight, sunrise, noon, sunset, conception, birth, maturation, decline. What doesn't work with that? Pretty much nothing. And then the wisdom, I tell all my students, be the dots in the yin and yang symbol, because that means that you can never, ever, 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 ever have 100% of anything. 100% that give it your all, give it your 100, it's dysfunctional. If I would use the martial art analogy, if I would throw a punch and put 100% of my weight in it, okay, Beth grabs my arm, I'm done. Because I have no recourse. I can't adapt. If I throw 70%, I can adapt. So the secret is never extend yourself past 70%. Because if you do, you won't be able to adapt to not if things change, but when things change. So this is part of keeping your balance. When you're walking, I teach a lot of the Qigong and Tai Chi for probably the best thing you can learn how to do for fall prevention is when you step, when you put your foot down, don't put all your weight on it like this. Most people fall because of this. They go, and then the surface is not stable and all your weight's on, and it's too late if it's slippery or gravelly. So ideally, when you walk, you should put your heel down first, empty, then apply your weight when you determine that the surface is stable. I'm stepping like this. Here, empty. See, legs empty. I guess you can't see. Real quick, folks at home, if I'm going to step, this is how people fall. Because you put all your weight down. And then if you're also having problems with posture and your weight forward, you don't have a chance. Because everything's going. If you step, feel that. Just notice, I don't have any weight on that. So once again, That's not committing past 70% of your maximum. You're retaining a little bit to adapt. So it's the same thing with, and this is all part of the keeping your balance. You know, you're riding a bicycle. Everybody, first of all, everybody's on the road they're traveling. Okay. Whether that road is correct, you'll find out later. Did anybody familiar with the Carlos Castaneda's teachings of Don Juan? Yeah. Okay. Don Juan's probably his best teachings to Carlos was follow a path with a heart. When you're on the path, keep traveling it, but you always got to be careful of the terrain if things are changing, you know, but that would be the 70% of your focus to keep your balance while you're traveling the path. However, the 30% is don't forget to look at the scenery. Don't be so focused on that you're missing. Oh, look over there. How many people stop? Was that a sneeze? Bless you. How many people stop every time they see a rainbow? Yeah, every time. I was at Walmart one time and it came out. And when it came out of Walmart, there was this, oh man, it was a dandy. And it was actually a double rainbow. Now, okay, so I don't know if there's any flat earth people out there. Okay, so if the earth is flat, why are rainbows arced? And then secondly, why is the second rainbow arced? And next time you see a double rainbow, check it out because the colors are reversed. It's art red up, but if you look at the reflection, it starts the other way. Yeah. So I stopped when I came out of Walmart and I'm looking at the people walking out. I'm looking at this rainbow. Maybe one person stopped and go, wow, that's everybody else. I don't want time. You know, try to find a peace while you're pedaling too. Don't pedal like a maniac all the time. You know, it makes the journey a lot smoother. I teach meditation all the time while I drive because I drive the speed limit. Oh, does that drive people crazy? Drive the speed limit. I mean, not dangerously. So you always have to learn how to flow with everything. But yeah, drive. It's amazing how people watch. You can feel the chi. And for stagnation and heat and anger, if you really want to understand what chi stagnation is, how stagnation creates heat. Anybody goes to New York at all? Ever drive in New York? Okay. You try to get into the tunnels or the bridges around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You will feel chi stagnation producing heat because as everybody slows down and things stop moving, it's like, Rrr! There's another Chinese saying, it's called bu tang zi tang, tang zi bu tang, which means no flow, there will be pain. Flow, no pain. Now, once again, the Chinese nuggets are great because you can apply those to pretty much every aspect of your life. So if you're stuck physically, it hurts. If you're stuck emotionally, it hurts. If you're stuck spiritually, it hurts. So the idea is to do enough self-examination on what you're attaching to the road you're on while you're pedaling and traveling it. Does it have a heart? Because none of us are going to know if the roads we're traveling are correct until we finish traveling it. Because there's always little turns and always little things. There's potholes along the way. So if you see the road is like, I don't know if anybody's on Pennsylvania, early spring, somebody posted a thing. It said, the Pennsylvania state flowers are now in full bloom. Traffic cones and signs and everything. There's always going to be diversions. So the question is, how do you adapt to those diversions and obstructions? How do you do that? That requires a balanced approach to everything you do. With the emotional thing, I have a whole thing that I do with the addiction and recovery. I call it the car key principle. If somebody can change your mood, somebody, something, some action, some whatever, with a look, a word, something they said, something they did, you have given your keys to your car to them and they are driving you. I am one selfish person here. I drive my own car. I don't give my keys to anybody. Everybody has their own cars. Everybody's dressed. I don't give my keys away. So I don't put myself at the mercy of anything that's going on anywhere. Because like I said, if you're a student of history, humanity's never been different. It's never been different. There's always polarity. The thing of it is we are at a time where we can access all of the nonsense that's been going on since humanity has been around. It's never different. So the question is, how are you going to navigate that while you do what you do? I have a spiritual CDL. Okay. I'm authorized to operate all spiritual vehicles. I can back them up and parallel park them and use them. And the bottom line of pretty much all traditions, it boils down to two things. One, be of service to people. You know, de-emphasize you. Like, don't go with, like, spend your day. This is when you're writing something. A writing instructor said, take a page out of anything you've written and go through and circle all the first person pronouns. And when you do that, it's like, whoa, yeah. The other thing is this is in the recovery thing, try to go through a day without using a first person pronoun. Try that one. I did this, I did that, try to eliminate that for a day. And you'll find out how egocentric we all are. Now, the ego is not bad. We need the egos because you have to have a sense of a you so that you can determine what will support your life or what will endanger your life. So you have to have the ego. So to completely suppress it, no, not good. So the bottom line of the spiritual things is be of service to everybody, be helpful, de-emphasize the self. Like in Christian teachings, when Jesus said, deny thyself. How many people really, you think, understood what he was saying there? Because that's not give up your stuff. No, that's the self. It's the same self that causes all the suffering and pain in the Buddhist tradition. It's the ego. Deny the ego. And then the second main tenet of all, I'm like a matcher. I homogenize everything down. So first is be of service to others. And the second, don't be a jerk. That's basically the bottom line of all the spiritual teachings. Everybody's going through whatever they're going through the same way you're going through whatever you're going through. Chinese medicine also, there's the basic emotions. As unique as we all think we are, everybody goes through the same thing. It's just you make the experience personal to you. But everybody's going through the same stuff. So the idea is be helpful when you can, be of service, de-emphasize yourself. And then your spiritual balance, basically the spiritual balance is the acknowledgement that there is something greater than you, and then whatever metaphor resonates with you, because they're all metaphors. They're all metaphors. I think probably the best one is the Tao Te Ching, is the opening line with the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. As soon as you try to put any of this stuff into words, you miss the point. Because words are limiting. You can't define stuff. So and all the great spiritual teachers taught in parables, like Sai Wong, maybe yes, maybe no. Okay, so the idea is they taught in parables to try to direct your attention to an experience that you can't put into words. So when you have one of those experiences, you have like an enlightenment or something, and you're trying to tell somebody about it, and you just start tripping all over everything, it's like, bleh. Now you're getting closer because you can't put these into words because they're not supposed to be put into words. They're supposed to be experienced. So it's a knowing. So the idea is, in summary, just keep pedaling, find your path. Whatever path you're on, like I said, you'll know if it's correct or not as you travel it. Sometimes you'll see an off-ramp and go, you know what? I think I need to pull over here a little bit. But keep your balance so you can make those decisions. I do Chinese astrology and a lot of expos that I work at. I don't do fortune telling. In other words, the Chinese astrology tells you your emotional makeup and what your tendencies might be. And I think if you know yourself, that's probably the most profound teaching is know thyself. If you know yourself and understand that, you are going to make better decisions. Therefore, your future might reveal itself better. If somebody says, well, am I going to do this? When will I? No, you determine that. So with the people who are looking for jobs, don't send out a vibration of doom and disaster, because once again, the people who lost their jobs, maybe that was the best thing that ever happened, because something else is waiting. Maybe yes, maybe no. You don't know, because I can't tell you how many times when something happened and I thought, oh no, what am I? And then all of a sudden something opens up and it goes, wow. So yeah, don't be locked into it. Just be at peace with it, because sometimes the worry sends out a vibration that keeps out, it almost repels the very things you want to come into your life. Just be at peace. Enjoy this, because this is all temporary. Believe me, none of us are getting out of here alive. So, so do the best you can to keep your balance and keep pedaling on whatever you're doing. Okay? Any questions? Do that later. My prayer for everybody, okay? I embrace divine presence, blessings, guidance, and protection, and give thanks for health, abundance, clarity, wisdom, and the ability to continue to be of service. May all beings reside in peace. Take it away, Brian.